read scripts, educate yourself, get together with friends and do Zoom play readings. There's so many outlets now to still keep those creative juices going.
Hello, my name is Julia Steyer, and this is Players, Performers, and Portrayers, the podcast. Today, for our first ever episode, we are joined by Stan Zimmerman, who has written for hit sitcoms like The Golden Girls, Gilmore Girls, and Roseanne. He is also an award-winning playwright, and today we'll be talking to us about his play Meet and Greet, which will be having an online reading through the Coachella Valley Repertory Theatre for their Theater Thursdays series. Let's jump right in. Just to start us off, Meet and Greet originally premiered at the Hollywood Fringe Festival as a stage production. How has revisiting the show over Zoom changed it?
Well, we're really just doing the same production. Meet and Greet has evolved since that initial Fringe production in that we had a big backers audition reading in New York a couple of years ago with Sherry Shepard and Rachel Dratch from SNL. And then a year ago, we did a reading in my living room with Melissa Peterman from Reba and Baby Daddy, who will be joining us on the 25th. And I've worked with Melissa Peterman in a play at the Dory Theater, Justin Tanner's revival of Heartbreak Help, with Marissa Jared Winokur, Tony winner. And she was also a guest star on my Lifetime series, Rita Rocks. So we go back a lot of different ways. She also did my infamous reading of Silver Foxes in my living room with George Takei and Leslie Jordan. So I have the Zimmerman players, and I'm very loyal, and I love to work with actors numerous times. I've done a couple things with Teresa Genzel. Mindy Sterling is my muse, and Olivia Dabo. The list goes on and on. And I feel so fortunate. Sometimes I pinch myself when I think about how lucky I am and the immensely talented people that have joined me on teeny tiny stages in LA and for little to no money, just because they love theater and we have a good time playing together.
Have you ever written a character specifically with a certain actor in mind?
For theater?
Yeah.
Our play, Knife to the Heart, which we call our circumcision comedy, I did always have in mind for the mother, Wendy Malick. And I couldn't believe it when she actually said she would do it. And so she did a bunch of readings. Unfortunately, she was not available to do our full production in LA. And but she is coming back to do online reading with a company in New York, which I can't tell you who it is yet. But we will be announcing very shortly, and we're very, very excited. But I find that using Zoom or other online mediums for play readings are very helpful to keep projects moving.
Yes.
And I am embracing it. I don't feel it's the answer to not having theater. I need to be in the theater. I want to be sharing that space with audiences, and especially since I do so much comedy plays for theater, I like to hear that sound of laughter.
Yeah.
And also in my more serious plays like Anne Frank and my Suicide Notes play right before I go, when you're in that room and you start to hear people cry, it's so beautiful to have that shared experience. And I will miss the hugging after the shows in the lobby, so that probably won't be for a while, but I do love the conversations that even my comedies provoke and having the talkbacks, which I did a lot with Anne Frank, and we're looking forward to hopefully post all this craziness to be back in theater doing them. But I just did a reading of a new play called Have a Good One about four young people that work at an Abercrombie type store in a Midwest mall in 1999. And two of them are shirtless greeters, so that will attract a certain clientele to the audience. But we just finished the play right as COVID hit, and I was like, this is a good time to grab some really great talent and hear it. And we did, and we got great response. So now I'm just like, what is the next step?
Fantastic. You touched on this a little bit when you said that the Zoom reading has been good for, keeping projects moving forward, but have there been any unexpected benefits that you found to workshopping or presenting plays because of Zoom? Is there any way that the medium itself has kind of enhanced or changed storytelling for you?
I'm not looking at Zoom to enhance storytelling, to be quite honest. I do love, there was a production that the Public Theater did, that Richard Nelson, a famous writer, created a play. He's been doing a series of plays about the Apple family, which is a family he made up. Mm. And he literally wrote it about a family in quarantine on Zoom. So that was using the medium specifically for this. For me, I don't really want to replicate Zoom. I love it as a tool, and I think it's going to be a new tool now for me to have rehearsals so I don't have to make everybody come to my house. And I do a lot of readings in my living room, and I'm always afraid to ask actors to spend more time getting to my house to do a pre-read. Mm. So this way, I'm going to use Zoom as now definitely pre-reads. I can give them notes so that when people do come over, and we've had our glass of rosé, we're watching the reading, and it's not just a cold reading. And so I think, for me, timing is so important in plays that I think that's important to kind of, they can hear my take on where to take the pauses and more specifically where not to. Mm-hmm. It has helped me. So there was this play done in the 80s called A Couple of White Chicks Sitting Around Talking. It was a huge hit off Broadway. It's a two-character play, and it was with Susan Sarandon and Eileen Brennan. And then many great actors went in to replace them, and it was played all over in regional theaters for years, and it hasn't been done in a while. And about 4 years ago, I had this idea that I wanted two black actors to read it, and I had to have Sherry Shepherd and Kim Whitley read the play and just cross out the white. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I wanted to hear them do it. They're good friends, and I've worked with both of them separately. Actually, they both did readings of Meet and Greet, coincidentally. And separately, playing the same part. And so I just said to them, look, I know you're home because of COVID. So after 4 years of bugging, they were available to actually read it. And it sounded great. And I invited some New York people, and everyone said, no, you need to do this. And especially to do it now, I think, would be really cool. And they're so fun together. So we're just figuring out who wants to get involved. I would love to somehow get it going in LA before taking it to New York. But and I'm thinking that the first shows that are going to open up in New York are going to be small 2-people plays. And as long as I, block them 6 feet apart at the kitchen table, we'll be okay.
Oh, I love that. And I love how, these strange times unlocked this new tool for you, as you said, for pre-reads in the future. So it's nice that there's at least been a little bit of a silver lining in that. I
really like looking at this play, which is specifically about married women of that time. Mm-hmm. And I want to get into the messy discussion of it. Yes, it was written by a man. So how did that perspective change? How did being married back then, is it different from now? So although it's a really has a lot of comedy in it, I think I'm always about provoking discussion in theater, so I hope we can do it with that play.
So now we have been talking a little bit about how things are strange right now because a lot of productions are shut and theaters are closed down. So what advice do you have for writers during these unprecedented times?
Right. When it first kind of hit, I was just exhausted and tired, and watching the news made me even more upset, and just laying in bed, and I really couldn't create. And everybody kept emailing me saying, oh, I'll bet you're being so creative, we know how you are. And it took me probably 2 or 3 weeks just to find the strength and I had a lot of projects that were, along the way, but nothing was finished. And so I think it's important just as people who listen to your body, and it's okay not to create, but it is a golden opportunity now because hopefully people are home more and not running around without masks on.
Yes.
So it is a good excuse to just listen to yourself and the inner voice, and what do you want to work on, and what do you want to write, and what do you want to create. If you're a writer, if you're not, if you're an actor, read scripts, educate yourself, get together with friends and do Zoom play readings. There's so many outlets now to still keep those creative juices going, and I think that's really important to not let that muscle, atrophy.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. I love that. And then my final question is there anything I should have asked or anything you would like people to know about either yourself or Meet and Greet?
I'm just so excited to be working with a new theater and new people, and it's a great way for them to get to know me and vice versa, and for people down in Palm Springs, Coachella Valley, Cathedral City area to hear my work, because normally that just wouldn't happen. So that's very exciting for me as a new playwright to get my words out there. And it's a big, crazy, funny, bold comedy about what we do here in Hollywood and how I make actors audition in front of each other and sit in that waiting room. And actors of a certain age, and it deals with women literally auditioning for a really bad sitcom written by men. So we poke fun at all of that. And I want people to come and laugh and let go, have a little drink, or just sit back and watch and enjoy these amazing actors that have agreed to do it and have a good time.
Oh, I love that. That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Stan. You can catch Meet and Greet on June 25th at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Grab your free ticket by visiting CVREP.org. Thanks for listening.